Hey guys, how's it going? Today I want to show you how to dry and preserve flowers using silica gel crystals. So I've got some that I've already dried that we're going to also use in a crafty project to take inside. I'll show you how to put them in the sand, and then we've also got some dahlias in here that I cut right before our first frost, and I think they're ready to come out, so we'll unearth those together. And of course there are the traditional methods of preserving flowers, like hanging them upside down to dry or using flower presses. We've done a flower pressing video before. We will link that down below. But the thing I love about drying in silica gel crystals is the look that you get. I mean, they stay true to form. You get so much better color. There's no way I could press this dahlia and have it look pretty because they are so full of moisture, one, and so full of petals that it would probably just look like a mess if I tried to put it in a flower press. So silica gel crystals are a wonderful way to go. Look at this sunflower right here. This is one I pressed from last year, not even this year's growth, and look at how beautiful that looks. You can also put them in the sand with longer stems if you want to, like if you're using a bigger pan. And then you can either use them with the long stem, or you can create false stems on the ones that don't have stems on them. And you can create a nice big dried flower arrangement with stuff that you've gathered from your own garden. So I've got just some beautiful stuff in here. I mean, look at this hellebore. I had so much fun last winter doing this. There's some beautiful, like this one right here. The detail that you still get, that you maintain with silica gel crystals, is amazing. So I'm just a huge believer in it. And this is the brand. I don't think it matters what brand, but these are the ones I'm using. I've got the Panacea. This is from Joann's. And then I realized after buying this little tub how much more I would actually want to be doing. So I ordered this bag on Amazon. Both of which have these little, like if you look here, they've got these little colorful crystals in there. And what those they do is they're a color changing crystal. And as they suck moisture out of the flower, they will change color so that you kind of know it's working. And then once you're done with your flowers in there, you can either put the crystals in an oven, like a really low heat oven, or just leave them in the pan for a few days and let them air dry. And that way you can reuse these crystals over and over and over again, which is really fun. So first thing, let me show you how to put them in the crystals. What you need to do is have yourself a container of some kind. It doesn't really matter what it is. And you want to have a little bed in the bottom of your bowl, like that. Does not have to be very deep at all. And we're going to go ahead and just do this mum right here. I don't want to have any stem on that one, so we're just going to nest that right down in the bowl. See if I can tip it and show you. Face up, because if we do face up, then I can get the silica sand all down in the petals so that they are kind of cradled and you maintain your shape really nicely. And then all you do is you slowly pour the silica gel crystals in and around the flower. I mean, it's so simple. Typically, I leave every flower, doesn't matter what variety, in for about a week before I check on them. Some flowers don't take that long to dry. Some take a little bit longer depending on their moisture level. But I'll check them after about a week and take them out if they seem dry and leave them in if they need more time. And that's about all there is to it. But you want to make sure that you're doing it slowly and that you've completely covered the flower. There's like petals still in the sand. I've used the sand so many times. Like that. That is how easy it is to use these crystals. I should have probably got an overhead shot, but I think you probably get the idea. Once I get more of this sand out, maybe I'll do another flower so you can see, we'll get a better shot of it. I've got a really pretty rose and a sunflower here. And I always think of doing these projects once we don't have as many flowers out in the garden, but there's nothing wrong with running down to the grocery store, picking up an inexpensive bundle of flowers so that you have some things to work with. It's a really fun thing to do and to look forward to in the winter. Okay, so now let's unearth these dahlias. So for this part, all I'm doing is I'm going to slowly pour off sand into this just empty container here. And then I've got a soft brush that I will dislodge any crystals that might get stuck in the center of the flower or on some of the petals. This part you just want to be very slow and gentle as possible. You might lose a petal or two depending on the flower and how fragile they are, but typically they come out pretty good. I think this is like a Cafe au lait dahlia, one of the smaller ones I picked earlier. So let's do this. Let's see if I can show you. Kind of get up underneath it here. I lost a few of my petals from underneath. You can see that right there, and that's no big deal. Whoops! Holy moly. overall pretty good. So see that I lost some from underneath. And then I'm going to go through really quick and just give it a quick cleaning. I'm going to make it balanced here too. The dahlias were kind of an experiment for me last year. I didn't try any of them in silica sand. I just basically tried some of my winter flowers and some things I could get at the grocery store, because I started this project last winter after flower season was over, just like this year. I think I need a little bit smaller of a paintbrush to get right into this middle section right here, but that turned out pretty darn good. Pretty delicate. I may have left this one in the sand for a little bit too long, but it's kind of a matter of experimentation, really. It's really pretty and beautiful color. Okay, now we're gonna go after this pan. I don't even know where to start in this one. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah. Here's a little pom-pom. Look at how pretty that is. I'm not going to take all the time required to get every bit of the sand off right now. I'll do that in a little while because it has just turned like it's going to start to storm and I think we're losing light. So anyway, I want to get to my project. Ooh, look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Oh, this one's perfection. Look at this. This is like one of the water lily type dahlias. Look at the fluffiness of the center petals. Oh, that's gorgeous. Another pom-pom in a darker color. Oh, this one looks so delicate. Okay, so here are the dahlias. They look awesome. Like just looking at them really quickly at a quick glance, you can't even tell that they're dried because they maintain their color so beautifully. And I think it's supposed to, like the sun's coming out for a brief second, but then it's gonna get really dark. So I think what we're gonna do is just leave everything right here and we're gonna come back tomorrow and hopefully it's a little bit more bright so you can actually see what I'm doing here. So anyway, see you guys tomorrow. All right guys, good morning. It's the next day and it's much nicer and brighter out here. And honestly, if I could have started this whole process over again, I probably would have because I was hurrying as quick as I could to get these flowers out of the silica gel crystals because we were losing light so fast. And it really should be a slower process, you know, kind of almost like an archaeological dig, you know, using your brush to kind of brush the sand away so you can see where all the petals are, thus, you know, creating less damage to your flowers. But I think most of them came out pretty nice looking. And also, unless you can remember exactly how you laid your flowers out in like a big pan like this, if you're going to be drying them together, I would probably recommend using an individual like little dish or bowl or something like that for each flower. And that way you know exactly what's in each one of them and they're a little bit easier to unearth that way. So the project we're going to use some of these flowers on today are some shadow box frames. So I found these at the craft store and they allow for a couple inches below the glass here. And I thought it would be really pretty just to hot glue some flowers inside these frames. I've got a few here, a couple different sizes. So two of the same size, the square, and then I've got one that's a rectangle size. And I also thought it would be really cool to get 4 of the same size of frame and dry flowers from each season of the year. So you had, you know, a spring, summer, fall, and winter, and you could even like write that somewhere inside the frame. I think that would really be really cool to capture each season of your garden and display it somewhere on your wall inside. So what I'm gonna do is, I've got this, just a mixed media pad, it's just white paper, because I want to replace this little gray thing that comes with the frame. So I just need to take this out really quick. This is the easy part. You could even do this if you wanted to. In fact, let's just do that. I think that's a good idea. You could use a different color if you wanted, but my goal is to really not have that show too much. So what we could do is start kind of arranging, or you could do a single. Like I think with this one, I just want to do a single. So I just need a little dab of hot glue behind my dahlia. And by dab, I mean a big old dab. Okay. And then we're going to position this right in the center. It's very striking just to have the one. Look at that. That's so pretty. Such a fun way to capture some of your garden, and what a fun gift, because I got these frames for 50% off. They were under $10 for each one of these frames. And then of course you have your sand, which is kind of a one-time purchase because you can use it over and over again. And then it's just the time of, you know, gathering your flowers and letting them dry. And it's just a really fun project to do. All right. I'm just gonna set that down and see how, yeah, I think it'll work out really nicely. You might have to, if you've got some petals that are a little bit too tall. I've got just a skinny paintbrush, you can use whatever, a skewer. And I'm gonna try to direct some of these petals to where they're sitting how I want them to sit. So let's see. It's a little bit of a tender process here. Yep, that is perfect. Look at that. Oh, I'm so happy with that. Let me clasp it down here. And there we have our first one right there. Now I have other framed pressed flowers, but I've pressed them flat in my flower press. So you get like a traditional looking framed picture, but this just gives you something different because it's 3D. It has so much more dimension and color, I think. So anyway, that's the first one. Now I'm gonna work on the other two, and I'll probably do like little groupings of flowers in those. So let me get those done quick, and then we'll take a look at the whole collection. They're all done, and I think they turned out really, really sweet. So of course the first one with just the single flower, and then the second one here I used 2 flowers. I was thinking about adding some more in, but I think it's just pretty in its simplicity, and the flowers really contrast each other beautifully. So we've got a little cluster of hellebore flowers on a single stem, and then the one dahlia. I did have to pull some of the under petals of the dahlia off so that it would fit inside the frame, because some of those flowers, like the sunflower, I really wanted to use, but I think it was a little bit too tall to work. And then in the third one I did a collage. So just a bunch of beautiful things. There's hellebores, straw flowers, both in kind of like the yellow and orange range, and white right up here. A little rosebud. There's some little vinca flowers. There's a little dahlia, Jacob's ladder bloom, and then some petals of another hellebore down there. And I think it's pretty just seeing all of those different things all together in one frame. So I think it would be really neat to do one of maybe these kind of numbers somewhere inside on a wall. I might even go pick up more of these frames so I have them on hand, so I can maybe make kind of a gallery wall. Wouldn't that be awesome? Just to slowly build a huge display of gorgeous leaves and flowers that you've preserved from your own garden, and just in so many beautiful colors and arrangements, and very unique to you and what you like. So that's pretty much it for the video. I just wanted to show you how to preserve flowers using the silica gel crystals. It's so easy. I think it actually makes them look prettier than traditional preserving methods because they maintain their color, they maintain their form, and I feel like you can do so much more. I really want to start creating some fall stems for some of these things that I have left over, and maybe make a dried arrangement in a vase somewhere in the house, something that I don't have to toss after a week, you know, like you do with fresh cut flowers. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.